Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Hey, Ethan and Jaden, Applesauce, Aiden. Who else we got in here? Rachel and Cameron. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, looks like that's it. Just a few of you guys. If you're here, drop something in the comments. Man, I look like I don't know. Got my Afghan on. Looks like some kind of weird scarf, but it's my mask. See? Like a ninja. All right. Let's get started. What's up? Chris is here. Glad to see you, brother. Well, we are going to delve into the depths of the scriptures this morning. We will be in Psalms, the book of Psalms. We're almost done. You guys are doing great, man. You guys are hanging in there here with the book of Psalms. 126 is where we are today. I guess I should switch screens. All right, so we're on 126. We finished up 127 yesterday. So we're on 126. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. We have youth group tonight, 6 o'clock. Come on out. But no buts. No ifs, ands, buts, or rebuttals. Yeah, come on out. 6 o'clock. We're going to be doing Daniel chapter 8. We'll be talking about Antiochus Epiphanes and his kind of role, I guess, in history and how Daniel had a dream that was prophetic about him. Should be good. And then Sunday, we'll be meeting for church. Hey, I'm still looking for some people to help Debbie tomorrow morning carry some furniture. It doesn't sound like a lot of stuff. I talked. It's like a TV, not a very big TV, and then a couple of like small dressers and a chair. And you'll pick it up here from Beaumont. You're getting Debbie's truck. She'll drive you to Palm Springs. You'll unload it. You got to carry it up a flight of stairs, and then she'll drive you home, and you'll make a little bit of money. So I don't know if any of you guys are interested in doing that. If you're feeling strong, you don't have to be super strong, but I don't know. Ethan, you're a strong dude. Chris, you're a strong dude. So Cameron, I think you're a strong dude. Rachel, you're strong too. I mean, you don't have to be a boy. Girls have muscles too. So, yeah, we're looking for someone. So if you can do that, please let me know. ASAP. We're trying to find someone. If we can't find anybody, then I have to go and carry it all myself. I don't want to do that. Or at least if one person can go, then all three of us can ride in Debbie's truck. We can do that. So, I don't know. Let me know. Let me know. All right, let's read Psalm 126. I need to pray first. Father, we ask that you would bless our time in your word. Speak to us through the Psalms. Lord, cleanse us, make us whole and holy. We thank you for Jesus, who died on the cross for our sins, who brings us forgiveness and restoration. And we pray that you would help us to just enjoy being in your word this morning. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh, excuse me. What do you mean if you can't go up the stairs? Why can't you go up the stairs? You got a broken knee or something? All right, well, let's read the Bible, and then we're gonna get you guys. Somebody signed up for this, all right? Got all the weightlifter guys. Oh man, I haven't been weightlifting as much. I've been hiking like a ton, getting ready for Yosemite. I've been hiking. I think this month I've hiked 40 miles, which isn't a lot for a month, but I'm still, trying to get 30 miles in at least on my bike a week, and then riding. So I've been weightlifting. So last night I got in my weight room and I did some deadlifts. We'll see how I feel today. I might get I might get really sore. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's Chris. It's not super heavy furniture. It's like a TV and a couple other things. So from what I've heard, it's not heavy. Debbie said she could lift it herself, but she doesn't want to. So yeah. All right. Well, let's read and then we'll talk about that. That way, those who don't want to stay around for a conversation about moving furniture don't have to. Good. All right. Restore our fortunes, O Lord. Oh, this sounds good. This is good. I'll take some of that restoration of fortune. This must be like prosperity gospel here. I'm just kidding. There's no prosperity gospel in the Bible. All right. Restore our fortunes, O Lord. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter. Ha, ha, ha! And our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like streams in Negeb. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. I think we're going to leave here at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, applesauce. Okay. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who built it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the loom, a reward. The fruit of the womb, a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate. All right, that's about having kids. It's good. Children are awesome. Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord. Oh yeah. Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord, who walks in his ways. You shall eat the fruit of the labor of your hands. You shall be blessed, and it shall be well with you. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. Your children will be like olive shoots around your table. Behold, thus shall the man be blessed who fears the Lord. The Lord bless you from Zion. May you see the prosperity of Jerusalem all the days of your life. May you see your children's children. Peace be upon Israel. Let's do another one. A song of ascents. Greatly have they afflicted me from my youth. Let Israel now say. Oh, hang on. We're going backwards. What is child's? Where does it say child's? We got children. Oh, child gospel. I got you. I got what you're saying. You want to see that one? You want to see the Fear of the Lord one? And oh, you want to see this one in Eugene's. All right, let's see 127 in Eugene. All right, here we go. All right, old Eugene, what do you got for us? If God doesn't build the house, the builders only build shacks. If God doesn't guard the city, the night watchman might as well nap. It's useless to rise early and go to bed late and work your worried fingers to the bone. Don't you know he enjoys giving rest to those he loves? Don't you see that children are God's best gift? The fruit of the womb, his generous legacy. Like a warrior's fistful of arrows are the children of a vigorous youth. Oh, how blessed are your parents, with your quivers full of children. You parents, sorry. Your enemies don't stand a chance against you. You'll sweep them right off your doorstep. There you go. Yeah, I don't know how I must have been thinking about something else when I read through this. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. This is, man, this whole psalm I could just highlight, but I'm going to highlight this in a different color. This is a good passage here. That's famous. We sing that song. It goes to "Should old acquaintance be forgot?" Da, 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 da. It's got this. Unless the Lord doth build the house. Yeah. They that build it build in vain, or something like that. So, all right. 28. I think we read 28. 129. Yeah. Okay. 129. Here we go. They have afflicted me from my youth. Greatly have they afflicted me from my youth. Let Israel now say, greatly they have afflicted me from my youth. The plowers plowed upon my back. They made long their furrows. The Lord is righteous. He has cut the cords of the wicked. May all who hate Zion be put to shame and turned backward. Let them be like the grass on the housetops, which withers before it grows up, with which the reaper does not fill his hand, nor the binder of sheaves in his arms. Nor do those who pass by say, the blessings of the Lord be upon you. We bless you in the name of the Lord. All right. Yeah, we'll stop there. I want to finish the book of Psalms by the end of next week. It looks like we'll be okay. None of these are crazy long, and a lot of them are really short, so. Okay. Yeah, we'll finish by next week. Because then I'm going on vacation in Yosemite. And we'll have a week of no morning Bible reading. Sorry. All right, let's go to 1 Samuel. We're in 29 or 28. Saul and the Witch of Endor, or the Medium of Endor. All right. This is a crazy passage. This is a crazy passage here. A lot of debate going on here. Oh, in vain its builders strive. There you go, Brett. Thanks. I don't particularly like that song. It's weird because it's to the tune of like the song you sing on New Year's Eve. So, yeah, I don't know. The lyrics are good though. The lyrics are good. All right. Let's get into this. This is an interesting passage. I am by no means an expert on this passage, but this is a crazy passage, so let's give it a read. All right? I think you guys are going to like this one. If you haven't ever heard this story before, you're going to like this. Oh my goodness, I turned orange. Somehow I became an Oompa Loompa. I don't know what happened. Alrighty. An Ewok? I don't think so. No. Yeah, George Lucas, he stole his stuff from the Bible. We can see that. All right. In those days, the Philistines gathered their forces for war to fight against the rebel armies. Against Israel. And Achish said to David, understand that you and your men are to go out with me in the army. David said to Achish, very well, you shall know what your servant can do. And Achish said to David, very well, I will make you my bodyguard for life. I don't know why that was funny. All right. Now, Samuel had died, and all Israel mourned for him and buried him in Ramah, his own city. And Saul had put the mediums and the necromancers out of the land. The Philistines assembled and came and encamped at Shunem. And Saul gathered all Israel, and they encamped at Gilboa. And when Saul saw the army of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart trembled greatly. And when Saul inquired of the Lord did not answer him, either by dreams, or by Urim, or by prophets. All right, so let's talk about these three methods. So dreams, we know all about dreams, man. We've been reading about those in the book of Daniel. So sometimes God communicates to prophets and people through dreams. Prophets are those who speak on behalf of God, and they will communicate to people with a message from God. The Urim and the Thurim, these are These are lots. And you can see these things go together. So the Urim and the Thummim is like a black stone and a white stone, they think. And you would cast the lot or reach into a bag and pull out the white stone or the black stone, and it would kind of like predict the future. That would be the way that they would like inquire of the will of God, using these stones. And you find that in the Old Testament. So here you see, and he shall, this is in Numbers 27:21, and he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall inquire for him by the judgment of the Urim before the Lord. At his word they shall go out, at his word they shall come in, both he and the people of Israel. So we also see it in Deuteronomy. And of Levi he said, give to Levi your Thummim and your Urim to your godly one, whom you tested at Massah. And so they're not 100% sure how this worked, but this is how this worked. So, all right. So then Saul said to his servants, seek out for me a woman who is a medium, which is like, it doesn't mean like she's a size medium, like he needs a medium-sized woman. No, a medium would be like a fortune teller or a witch or a psychic, right? So seek out for me a woman who's a medium, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said to him, behold, there is a medium at Endor. So Saul disguised himself and put on other garments and went, and he and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night. And he said, divine for me by a spirit, and bring up for me whomever I shall name to you. Then the woman said to him, surely you know what Saul has done, how he has cut off the mediums and the necromancers from the land. Why then are you laying a trap for my life to bring about my death? But Saul swore to her by the Lord, as the Lord lives, no punishment shall come upon you for this thing. Then the woman said, whom shall I bring up for you? He said, bring up Samuel for me. Okay, so let's stop for a second. So we're right here. All right, so Saul, as a way of being obedient to God, he purged the land. So anybody who was a fortune teller, a psychic, a medium, a witch, anybody who dabbled in like necromancy is like raising the dead or trying to contact spirits. That would be like a psychic, I guess. Let's see what Eugene, what he has. Saul disguised himself. Mediums. Yeah, what verse is that? Verse 9. So the woman said, just hold on now. You know what Saul did, how he swept the country clean of mediums. Oh, he just says mediums. All right, so necromancers are those who try to speak to the dead. Anyway, and so Saul goes to her and he's like, hey, I need you to speak to the dead for me. And she's afraid. She's like, no, if I do that, I'm going to get killed. I'm going to get arrested because it's illegal now. But then he says, no, nothing's going to happen. And he says, bring up Samuel. Whom shall I bring up for you? And he said, bring up Samuel for me. All right. So when the woman saw Samuel, so there's like a part missing right here. Right? So bring up Samuel for me. So obviously she does some kind of abracadabra or something. And then Samuel actually appears. And then it says, when the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice. And the woman said to Saul, why have you deceived me? You are Saul. And the king said to her, do not be afraid. What do you see? And the woman said to Saul, I see a God coming up out of the earth. And he said to her, what is his appearance? And she said, an old man is coming up, and he's wrapped in a robe. And Saul knew that it was Samuel, and he bowed with his face to the ground and paid homage. Then Samuel said to Saul, why have you disturbed me by bringing me up? And Saul answered, I am in great distress, for the Philistines are warring against me, and God has turned away from me and answers me no more. either by prophets or by dreams. Therefore I have summoned you to tell me what I shall do. And Samuel said, Why then do you ask me, since the Lord has turned from you and become your enemy? And the Lord has done to you as he spoke by me. For the Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hand and given it to your neighbor, David. Because you did not obey the voice of the Lord and did not carry out his fierce wrath against Amalek. Therefore the Lord has done this thing to you this day. Moreover, the Lord will give Israel also with you into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow you and your servants shall be with me. The Lord will give the army of Israel also into the hand of the Philistines. Then Saul fell at once, full length on the ground, filled with fear because of the words of Samuel, and there was no strength in him, for he had eaten nothing all day and all night. And the woman came to Saul, and when she saw that he was terrified, she said to him, Behold, your servant has obeyed you. I have taken my life in my hand, and I have listened to what you have said to me. Now, therefore, you also obey your servant. Let me set a morsel of bread before you and eat, that you may have strength when you go on your way. He refused and said, I will not eat. But his servants, together with the woman, urged him, and he listened to their words. So he arose from the earth and sat on the bed. Now the woman had a fatted calf in the house, and she quickly killed it, and took the flour and kneaded it, and baked unleavened bread of it. And she put it before Saul and his servants, and they ate. Then they rose and went away that night. This is funny right here to me. That she made some food. She quickly killed it, and she took flour and kneaded it. I mean, how long must that have taken? You got to kill the thing. You got to skin it. You got to cut it up. Then you got to cook it up. I mean, we're talking. Saul didn't get to eat for a couple hours at least. You think In-N-Out takes a long time? My goodness. All right, let's go back and talk a little bit about what's happening here, so we can do a little bit of biblical parsing. All right, first off, ghosts wandering the earth, not a thing, right? Not a thing. Paul tells us that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Like, there's no such thing as like your soul being trapped on earth, right? And this is kind of many people's conception of what a ghost is. So in a lot of people's minds, a ghost is somebody who like dies in some tragic way, and somehow their spirit can't find rest, right? And so it like wanders the earth. That's silly. That's really silly, because Jesus said, you know, come to me all who are weary and I will give you rest. So if you're a Christian and you die, it doesn't matter how you die. You could get, you know, chewed up in a meat grinder or tortured to death or ran over by a bus or whatever. You're gonna go to the afterlife, either with God or separated from God, instantaneously. Paul tells us to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Jesus says that it's appointed for once for man to die, like so, and then the judgment. So it's not like you get to hang out on the earth and float around and haunt people and try to get them to solve your murder. Like, that's just the plot of a movie. That's not in real life. So that's the first thing you need to keep in mind. So any kind of ghost sighting or anything like that is never a ghost. It's always it's a evil spirit, right? An Elohim, or a lesser god, or a demon, whatever you want to call them. That's all the same name for the same stuff. Masquerading as another person. Now, what's going on here may be a little bit different, but we're going to talk about it in a second. So that's the first thing you need to know, that there's no such thing as a ghost, in the sense that a ghost is a human spirit that is floating around on earth without a body. That's not true. Now, there are evil spirits. There's a spiritual world, right, with evil spirits that are trying to do evil things. And most of what they're trying to do is not scare people. That's the movies. Okay, evil spirits, they're not trying to scare people. All right? Getting run over by a bus and getting punched in the face are very common for me. So, most people... I lost my train of thought. I shouldn't have read the comments. Anyway. Oh, okay. I was talking about evil spirits. So evil spirits, right? There's evil spirits. Now, we would call evil spirits demons. Now, whether all of them are demons, like angelic creatures, I don't know. We could get into that and talk about a lot of stuff. But there's evil spirits, right? All spirits created by God in the spiritual realm. Now, it does seem from the scriptures that spirits do have some kind of ability to appear in other forms besides invisible, that they can enter into the physical realm and manifest themselves. And the Bible talks about us entertaining angels unaware. We see Satan appear to Jesus. We see the serpent in the garden appear to Eve. So there is these appearances of demons through the scriptures, or evil spirits through the scriptures, and so this is a possibility. But they're not ghosts. Okay, so anytime somebody sees a ghost, it's either a hallucination of theirs or they're seeing some kind of a evil spirit. Okay, now what's going on here? So Saul goes and he sees the woman, and he asks her to bring up Samuel here. And then the woman sees Samuel. So like Samuel shows up in some form. So it's either actually somehow God allows for Samuel to come back. He sends him back from, I guess at that time he'd be in Abraham's bosom, or the heaven of that time. That God allows that to happen, which is a possibility because we see Elijah and Moses appear with Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration in the New Testament. And it's not like Elijah and Moses were on the earth floating around and like they just happened to appear there because they were ghosts. No, God, for a temporary time, for a specific purpose, sends them back from the spiritual realm, the heavenly place, while they're awaiting their bodies, to kind of appear on earth. It's possible that God did that with Samuel here. That calling up the dead doesn't actually work. You can't actually talk to dead people. Okay? You can't talk to your dead grandma through a necromancer or a psychic. And so when the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice. So she's like scared. And she might be scared because she's been doing this her whole life and she's never actually called up a spirit from the dead. It's always like she's just pretending, or she's, stealing people's money. And like, I would say like 90% of psychics are just good at cold reading people and making up stories really fast. Maybe 10% of them are actually kind of dealing with some kind of evil spirits. I think a lot of them are just charlatans. Anyway, so she sees something. So either God sends Samuel back, like just at this one time in history, which is possible, or it's some other evil spirit pretending to be Samuel, or perhaps a good spirit, like an angelic spirit, sending a message to Daniel. So we call that an angel, because angels are good spirits that have a message from God. They're angels, right? So perhaps it's an angel appearing as Samuel to send Saul a message. So those are kind of the three possibilities. Then she realizes it's Saul somehow. I don't know if the spirit tells her or what. And then he says, "Do not be afraid. What do you see?" And so obviously she sees it, but he doesn't see it. And then she says, "I see a God." Notice this word God. This is the word Elohim. Okay, we talked about this before, right? So I see, and it's Elohim in Hebrew. You can see right here. So she says, "I see an Elohim coming up out of the earth." So this is the word that we have for lesser God, for gods, for all the spirit beings that God created underneath himself. So angels and demons would fall into the Elohim category. So she says, "I see an Elohim coming up out of the earth." So she's kind of freaked out. Maybe she's never seen this before. And he said to her, "What is his appearance?" And she said, "It's an old man coming up and he's wrapped in a robe." Now also, this is interesting because I don't know if when we go to heaven we're going to be old, right? And so here's this thing coming up and it's an old man. And so it's appearing as what Saul would know Samuel to look like. So that's another clue that it might not actually be Samuel, but instead it's some kind of a vision or a spirit coming to give Saul this vision. And Saul knew that it was Samuel. So Saul knew that it was Samuel. And he bowed his face. It doesn't actually ever say, well, I guess it does say it was Samuel down here. But then Samuel said to Saul. So it could be that it was actually Samuel, because it says right here, then Samuel said to Saul, why have you disturbed me by bringing me up? Which is, maybe he's just messing with him. I don't know. It's kind of funny. And Saul answered, I am in great distress, for the Philistines. Okay, and then he goes on and he gives him this message, basically that you're going to die, Saul. Sorry, brother, you're dead. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on there. So I don't want you to get from this passage that psychics are real and that you can actually talk to dead people, because 99.9% of the time, dead people are gone forever, and you can't like bring them back from the dead. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so yeah, that's true. Brett, that's true. If it's some kind of demonic spirit. So I'm just giving you the views, man. I'm not telling you which one. I'm just giving you the way that people would view this, all right? Giving you the views. That's what I try to do when I teach you guys the Bible. I try to let you see the scriptures so that you can think about them for yourselves. And Brett, what you brought up there is an argument, right, for one of the views. And that's generally how we figure out what the Bible means, is by looking at all the scripture. How does this view of this passage fit with this passage, with the book, with the rest of the Bible, with what's being said, with what's going on with the characters? And then we begin to work through the possible views until we find a view that we think is the correct view. All right? So that's good, Brett. Well, you can't be saying that I'm wrong, because I didn't say which view was the right view. I just said the three views. So the views are: God sent Samuel back, this is an evil spirit, or this is a good spirit. Those are the three possibilities that are happening right here. I guess there's a fourth possibility, and the fourth possibility is that Saul didn't eat anything all day and all night, and he's just having a hallucination. So, yeah. Well, Brett, it could be, man, because Saul, I don't know if Saul is a worshiper of God or not, right? So we don't know. Saul doesn't seem to be a good dude. We don't know if he actually loves God, if he's a believer in God. So maybe it is a demon, and maybe he's actually going to be with the demon. Or maybe what's meant by that phrase, you're going to be with me, is just you're going to be dead. You're going to be in the spirit world. You're going to be not part of the terrestrial world anymore. You're going to be part of the celestial world. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. We need to kind of match it up with the rest of the Bible. But the things that we can take away are the things that I said, that there's no such thing as human spirits floating around on earth that we can just kind of call up and communicate with. And that there is a spiritual world. And so this is an interesting passage. You could spend a lot of time going through it word by word, really looking at the Hebrew, comparing it with other stories, and trying to figure out what's happening. Like I said, I haven't studied any of these passages. I'm just reading through them with you. Yeah, if you do try to summon a human spirit, you're going to get some kind of evil spirit pretending to be that human, or you're going to get somebody just lying to you and saying that they're... Oh, there we go. I'm back. All right, boys and girls. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. We will read 29 and 30. We'll finish 1 Samuel, and we will finish Psalms next week. So I'll see you guys tonight. All right, I'm going to get to studying for Daniel chapter 8 so that I do know what's going on in that passage, and I'll formulate my own view. All right, I will see you guys tonight, 6 o'clock. Bring your mask. We're going to have some fun.